is Clemvio Hodge. I'm from Quest Experiences in Anguilla, and this is Sandy Ground, the capital of salt production in Anguilla. Here, we would have had over 40,000 barrels of salt produced and shipped out to the Caribbean region, but especially to Trinidad and Tobago for the production of crude oil. We're heading over to Lit Lounge, a beach bar. What they've done is they've commemorated the salt industry by creating a mural, which has a depiction of what it used to look like. So people used to come here with their early in the morning baskets and bags to pick salt. Later on, one of the technologies that they would have added was a salt flat, and this is it here. So a salt flat is basically like a mini barge that you can put the salt in, keep it in there, and then transport it through the pond to the shoreline.
And it floats?
It floats, yeah. So those would have been around 16 feet by 8 feet wide, so very large vessels. And what Lit Lounge has done as well is they have exhumed some of those salt flats from the pond and created their bathtub. So with the salt industry, that would have actually failed in 1987 due to a global oil slump, but it was ongoing as an industry from the early 1900s, but it was discovered by the settlers 1600s, 1650s. Before that, it was used by the Amerindians, who were the indigenous people.
The Arawaks.
The Arawaks, yeah. And so salt has been a very important component of Anguilla. Anguilla is a very dry country. We are unable to produce any crops. We're unable to go into those plantation societies like the other Caribbean islands. So our crop was salt. And salt farms, well, it actually farms better when there's a lot of sun. And Anguilla doesn't get a lot of rain. The salt industry would have primarily supplied salt for Trinidad and Tobago. Salt was used in particular to separate the water from the oil that was pumped from the seabed. Sandy ground was the best and ideal place for harvesting the salt. It is one of 3 ponds that would have produced salt on the island, but this one in particular is more of a deep water harbor, which meant that larger vessels were able to get close enough to the shore and make it easier to load the salt onto those vessels. They were sailing boats. Over 40,000 barrels of salt were shipped to Trinidad and Tobago, and that was the harvesting period was only from around May till September, because after that it would start to rain a lot.
With the hurricane season.
Yes, hurricane season would come.
When would you say was the height of the salt export?
The height of salt export was 1967 during Anguilla's revolution, because at that point in time, Anguilla had to, we didn't have any industries.
Right.
And knowingly that you're gone into independent, you have to be able to supply and depend on yourself. So what occurred is there was a double in the production capacity of up to 80,000 barrels of salt was produced in that year. The salt pond is naturally farming, so there isn't much aid that's necessary. However, as it became a business, they introduced a diesel pump to move water from in the pond and in the sea. So if they had a lot of rain, they pump up water from in that to reduce the freshwater content, and vice versa. If there's not enough water coming from the sea to the pond, they will pump it in the opposite direction. Now, sandy ground is a sandbar, so sand is porous. So the water from the sea passes under the sandbar and accumulates in the pond, and it forms a very thick layer of salt.
And is there salt picking here as well?
Yeah. This wasn't a favorite because it's too far from the sea. So they're going to be building a marina.
Some people, they depend on tourism, so they really want new marinas and new ways for more tourists to get in. Yeah. Some people care about the salt picking. Some people just the environmental health, like it's not a good idea. Yeah. And what is your opinion with this?
There's a lot of different viewpoints on it, but for me, I think that before they wanted to put it in Sandy Ground Pond, I would have completely destroyed that natural only naturally occurring salt pond that's still producing, and I would have no longer be able to make tourists. The culture that we still have, that we should erase it. We should incorporate it into our culture, into our tourism.
We can't just rely on the beaches alone. This is Shoal Bay West, where they will be constructing a mega yacht marina in this salt pond over here. It is a good location because, however, they did reconsider from doing it at sandy ground because there was lots of pushback from the locals. And this is where they told me to do it. So you can even see the construction starting over here. And who said, I believe it's going to be a 3-year project. So how did you learn so much about Anguilla? Through your relatives and word of mouth?
From my dad. Producing a magazine as well, it meant that we needed a lot of facts and history. And I'm inquisitive. View Anguilla from the eyes of a tourist.
Yes.
And in doing so, it's fun. You get to question a lot of things that are in existence, and when you question things, you look for an answer.